Hello, my dear English listeners. You can skip ahead a few minutes to dive right into the interview with Anja today. And to my German listeners, hallo und herzlich willkommen zu der ersten Podcast-Episode hier in englischer Sprache. Ich konnte es mir nicht nehmen lassen, eine meiner besten und langjährigsten Food-Fotografie-Business-Freundinnen hier in den Podcast einzuladen. Und da Anja aus Slowenien kommt, ist die Sprache unserer Wahl natürlich Englisch. Ich hoffe, ihr könnt dem Ganzen folgen. Gebt mir gerne mal Feedback. Aber es wird in Zukunft wahrscheinlich hier und da immer mal ein paar Folgen auf Englisch geben, einfach weil der Content, den ihr von diesen extrem talentierten Frauen erwarten könnt, der gehört einfach hier rein, der muss hier mit rein und deswegen gibt es hier und da ein paar englische Folgen. Heute reden wir über ein Thema, das vielfach unter den Teppich gekehrt wird. Man hört es viel, dass Foodfotografie als Business nur noch 20% Fotografie und 80% Admin ist. Und wir reden heute darüber, wie man diesen großen Anteil von Admin, von Planung und Struktur angenehmer gestalten kann und effektiver und wie man damit viel, viel schneller durchkommt, damit man die kreativen Dinge auch wieder mehr genießen kann. Also heute ein etwas nerdiger Talk über eines unserer liebsten Tools und darüber, wie wir unser Business strukturieren. Für jetzt erstmal wünsche ich euch ganz viel Spaß mit diesem nerdigen Nischenthema und hört auf jeden Fall rein. Es sind so viele wichtige Bits da drin, die euch mit eurem Business sowas von weiterhelfen werden. Viel Spaß und los geht's! I think most people know us together by now, but Anja, like you know best what you do, what you're good at, who you are. So I can't imagine a better person to introduce herself than you. Anja, who are you?
I'm Anja. So I'm Anja from Slovenia, so kind of close to Sabrina, but not really. I'm a food photographer. I've been working as a food photographer for 6 years. Yeah, is it 6 years? It's 6 years now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you were a food blogger before, right?
I was a food blogger, and we started on the same month, as if I imagine correctly.
I think so too, and that was in 2015.
November or some October or something.
Yes.
So that's basically me. I don't post about recipes anymore, just like you don't post the recipes anymore. So we kind of evolved from the food blogger scene.
Yeah, we both kind of transitioned and evolved parallel with peaks of checking in with each other, admiring each other's work. And well, this has turned into a lovely friendship over those years. And we got to meet each other for the very first time last year.
So lovely. Yeah.
And we've always kind of been supporting each other. We're having weekly, bi-weekly-ish, irregular calls on Zoom to, support, to inspire, to vent over things.
I think that's the most helpful thing.
Yeah, and also to keep each other accountable. The question you or I will always ask at the end. So, what are you gonna do today? What are your plans? What do you want to get done?
And then you get like, oh yeah, I have to do something. I'm like,
yes.
Oh yeah, I need a plan. It's not just like, I'll be here.
Yeah. And the thing is, these calls always make me feel so good and motivated for the week, because usually we chat on Monday, and I notice it if we don't have them, that I need to find some other mechanisms to get myself into a worky, motivated mood.
Maybe you can find a ChatGPT replacement for me.
I mean, we talked about ChatGPT a lot as well, that we have chats with Chatty and how that helps us as well. But it's obviously not replaceable.
No.
What do you give me? No, exactly. But so we've been inspiring each other on so many levels in the past. And I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the last or only chat we're going to have on my podcast. I very much hope so.
Mhm.
So we chose a bit of a, well, can we call it a niche subject to talk about?
Yeah,
Something people
yeah.
don't really talk about a lot
hmm
in the
It
photography
feels a
scene.
bit technical, but it's also like organizational and just, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think it helps that you and I are a little bit nerdy on the technical
hmm
side and
Yeah.
love to dive into new tools, into software, and into ways to make our business life easier.
hmm
Because, yeah, well,
Yeah.
in the end,
Because that's why you use it. Yeah.
yeah, because in the end, food photography, like running a food photography business, is not just about taking pretty pictures. That would be lovely.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. It would, I mean, it wouldn't be easy, but like half of the weight would be taken down. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine if like photography and all the other stuff would be 50-50.
Ooh, that would be, is like, that would be great. Already, already
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. What do you think? How are the percentages? Like how's the balance for you between doing
Mm.
actual photography and
So
all the other
it's a
stuff?
little bit hard to determine because I do also teach just like you do. So
Hmm.
it's sometimes hard to kind of separate what I'm doing for my food photography business and what I'm doing for like the teaching business.
Oh gosh, yes.
So I don't know. I can just say a random number, but I feel like it's maybe like 20% of it is photography or preparing
Mm-hmm.
for photo shoots and like finding props, finding food, maybe even less. I don't know, but it's like
Yeah. That
not a
sounds
not a lot.
that sounds quite depressing. It might sound quite depressing, like, oh, I'm a
Yeah.
creative and I want to do all the photography, and then the reality hits and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, but paperwork and
Yeah.
acquisition
I,
and emails.
yeah. But like what we're gonna talk about today, so Notion is what actually like really minimize the percentage of the admin work. So I think it's kind of getting closer
Mm-hmm.
together the more I know what Notion can do for me.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you're saying something. I just want us to add that like this 20-80 percentage, like if that's the number, it's not
Mhm.
80% paperwork. It's also marketing,
Yeah.
of course. And
Yeah.
like the cool thing about a photo business is like I personally don't enjoy the photography only. There's other
Mhm.
parts that I
Yeah.
enjoy about business. Creating content for Instagram, for example,
Mhm.
can sometimes feel like a curse, but it also has lots of aspects that I really enjoy
Yeah.
because it's also
For
creating
me, it's like
content.
writing emails. For example, I really enjoy
Sometimes,
writing emails and
sometimes I'm getting into
newsletters,
it.
not emails to clients.
Yeah. But yeah, you mentioned Notion. We're getting there shortly. I just wanted to like go back in memory lane, like because we've been
hmm
here for 10 years
hmm
and we've not had Notion forever. And
Yeah.
I
No.
personally can say I was a bit of a mess at the beginning of my
Oh, definitely.
business journey. So, how was it for you? Like when you started food photography, you didn't know it was a business yet, but eventually it turned into something. So, what was your like? What kind of struggles did you have in terms of organization, and how did it go in the beginning?
I don't even think I had any organization. I had like organized invoices and all the stuff that was kind of legal stuff, and I needed to have that. So that was kind of organized in my folders, which is like still the same and it's still nice and pretty. But
Mm-hmm.
like everything else, like when you send out mood boards or briefs or anything else, like when you're communicating this with clients, I had everything in my emails. Like I didn't even have like Google Doc or something, or like a Canva doc. It was just like
Yeah.
in the emails, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna remember it. And then in the middle of a photo shoot, I was like, oh, what was the brief like for that specific photo? And I would go like take my phone, go onto my email and check that. It was like a mess. So
Yes.
no
Yeah.
organization at all.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that very hard.
Did you have the same?
So I lived on paper notes and
Mhm.
I
Also
had a
that, yeah.
little, yeah, I had a little paper organizer. And
Mhm.
that actually, no, that was not the beginning. That was advanced at some point. But no, I just had papers loosely lying everywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still sometimes a fan of a written to-do list because it
Mhm.
gives me like this haptic feedback of like, okay, I've done this,
Mhm.
I've done this, I've done this.
Mhm.
But it's like that alone is not working for me
Mhm.
anymore because I have like this
Mhm.
articulate system, this
Mhm.
digital
Yeah.
like brain of my whole business, and I can't live without it anymore. But in the beginning, it was really, I mean, I was studying. Like in 2015, I studied photography,
Yeah.
and like I had a little bit of guidance through my courses that I would at least know like the general stuff about taxes, what kind of
Mhm.
business model I would go for. Like there's the question of freelancing or
Yeah.
self-employment in
Mhm.
Germany, and then other things. So like the necessity thing, like there are some necessities that need organization, that is paperwork and taxes and
Mhm.
stuff. But apart from that, I didn't really have a structure unless there was a client job. Then I knew, oh, that is on Thursday, so I need to prepare it and I need to do
Mhm.
these and these and these things. And yes, I had my emails and I would look back into my emails
Yeah.
for the briefing and stuff. But besides that, like I didn't have any like it was hard to actually get through the week feeling productive because I would procrastinate a lot and I wouldn't know how to structure my day. And if I structured it
Yeah.
too tightly, I wouldn't do it because I would feel like limited in my
Yeah.
creativity. I think that
Mhm.
is a struggle for lots of creatives. This like, oh, but I have a business, I have my own creative business because I want to be free and do whatever I want to do. And
Mhm.
to point that is true, but I found that the moment I had a structure in my business, I could work more freely because
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
just forget all the things I had to do because they were
Yeah.
in the system.
Because you were focusing on that one and you knew that like once you're finished, you're gonna go and check your like list and you know
Mm-hmm.
what you won't have to like think about, what is next. I can't remember what are the important things. Like if you don't
Yeah,
write it down, you basically is just like a mix of things, a mix of
yeah,
words in your brain. Yeah.
exactly. It gives me more creative freedom to know,
Mhm.
oh, I don't have to think about this now. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I will
because
be
like your
reminded of it.
brain is then free and
Yeah,
has like
yeah.
space to do creative stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love to talk about my Notion system as my digital brain, my
Mhm.
buddy, my personal assistant, basically, or secretary. Oh, I like that
Yeah.
too.
Yes, it can be everything. It can be like multiple things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit about Notion, and people might be like, what the fuck is Notion?"
Yeah, I was like I remember I heard from to about Notion from Fanette from French. I think
Yeah.
her brand is Frenchy. You probably know her.
I do.
I know she was talking about Notion years ago, and I was like, yeah, but that's like I already knew that it's a little bit more difficult than maybe like other tools, because she
Yeah.
was also mentioning that you need to kind of set things up right, and then it's easy, but like in the beginning it's difficult. So I just kind of steered away from it because I felt like I don't have time to really invest it to learn a new tool, which I'm not even sure if I'll need or not. Yeah, but I think that I started it with it last year, and I think it was you who started it before me, and then
Yeah.
mentioned that you started and kind of inspired me to to try it out. Like you really hyped me.
Yay. Yeah. Yeah. I thought it would be exactly your tool because you're also like,
Yeah,
as a creative mind, you're very structured and
yeah.
you like order in your business and
Mhm,
know what to do when. And I've been using Notion for, oh gosh, a couple of years now. I've been using
mhm,
my own template, which is a whole database or home for your business. I think
mhm,
also 3 years ago.
mhm,
2 years? Yeah, 3 years ago and 2 years ago I launched it. And I also got introduced to Notion like even earlier during
mhm.
like by a colleague when I was working for a publisher. And that colleague, lovely person, but very messy, chaotic brain. And that's also how the Notion template looked like. And we didn't get a proper introduction because that's the thing. Notion at first looks like a blank canvas, and you
Yeah.
have all the options to do whatever you want to do. But if you don't understand the principle of how Notion works, that's never going to work
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, no.
So
You really need to
yeah,
dig into like what the databases and pages are and like really
yeah,
understand it.
yeah,
Otherwise, you can create a mess, just like you said.
yeah, yeah. But in general, Notion is a tool for project management,
Yeah.
just broadly put into words. So, tools like Asana or Trello.
Hmm. Yeah, I used Asana before
Yeah.
switching to Notion.
And I knew Trello before. It has this
Hmm.
Kanban system where
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
can move your task from one to the other until it's done. And
Yeah.
Asana has
It's more like a calendar system. I
yeah,
think you can also have it in like different presentations, but it's mainly kind of like calendar based.
yeah. So the thing with Notion is it combines all the things
Yeah.
from other project management tools, and you can choose how to show your content so that you can work most effectively with it. Like you can have
Yeah, for different projects, for
yeah,
different things.
so it works on a database basis, which sounds scary. I found it scary,
Yeah.
like, oh, database, no, I can't code, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
um, but basically that makes it enables you to, like, for example, you want to have a to-do list for your weekly to-do so that you can plan ahead. Sometimes you might want to see a calendar view of your to-dos so you can plan the week and see, okay, what's happening on Thursday, what's happening on Friday. That's fantastic. But sometimes you might want to focus on, okay, what's important for today? And then you can have a
Hmm.
Kanban view of it with, like, okay, this is left what you have to do, and this is already done. And then you can
Yeah.
drag and drop it and have this satisfying, like, check, I
Yeah.
did this
Like, yes.
feeling, because that is important too. Again, I love paper to-do
Yeah.
lists for this, like, okay, I can cross it off.
Hmm.
And the Kanban gives me a similar satisfied feeling.
Oh,
And
but I mean, I also use Kanban in certain situations, but I'm like, I have the same on my calendar. So I'll see my tasks in my calendar and I'll have that check. How is it? Check
check
something?
mark.
Check mark. And then I'll just check it off and it's like gone, just like
Yeah.
it disappears. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's when
no,
you have
nothing
like
is here.
when you have a checklist, you can like press the like check
Yeah.
and then it gets crossed out. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing. There's so many ways you can show your
Yeah.
data.
Just like you use
How
whatever feels better for you. Like it's the
yeah.
same database, but you can present it in so many different ways. Like for content creation, for example, I'll have like a calendar where I'll see all my content for all my posts that go out. But then I'll also have like the same database presented in a list way where I'll also only see ideas, for example. For example, when I go planning, I don't want to see like whatever is planned already. I just want to see ideas. So then I'll have like everything sorted
Exactly.
and filtered.
Yeah.
But it's the same database. It just filters out things.
Again, yes. And you can filter it by newsletter content or
Yeah.
Instagram content
Mhm.
or have a full view of your calendar. So basically, like
Yeah.
seeing your, oh, I don't have the word for this, neither in German nor in English. That's the problem with bilingual sometimes. But in your calendar, you can see, okay, these are the content pieces that go out. This
Yeah.
is in progress. This still needs some editing. And
Mhm.
ever since then, when I look, it also is very satisfying to like look back to the past months,
Mhm.
like see how much content you
How much you
created,
posted. Yeah.
because like we have so many different contact points with our audience. It's not just Instagram.
Yeah.
It's emails. It's LinkedIn. It's
Yeah.
everything. And sometimes we feel like I feel like it's not enough what I'm doing. And then I look
Mhm.
at
But then you
my
see.
calendar, I'm like, oh, I sent out a newsletter that day, a podcast episode went
Yeah.
online. I promoted the podcast on my stories and on LinkedIn and here. And then suddenly
Yeah.
your week is actually full of content, but in many different like
Yeah.
areas. That's
Also,
very
for
satisfying.
content creation, for me was um, I like every Notion page has the icon. So I have like for each post, either it goes on LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube or whatever, it has the icon of that, basically
I
the
have
logo
the same.
of that app. So
Yes.
it's like everything is in my calendar all all social media. It's in one calendar and don't have it separate. But
Mhm.
then I see, okay, YouTube, I'll see it. I don't have to read it or anything. I'll just see it from the icon. So it's like,
Yes.
boom, you can see it immediately. So it's like
Yes.
lots of things that you can really customize to make it quicker for you to like see what have you posted, what you haven't, where have you posted,
Mhm.
like, or even like for business,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. The visual thing is very important
yeah.
for me. It's also
Hmm.
one thing because I find Notion visually very pleasing to look
Hmm.
at, and I feel like
Yeah.
it helps me organize things because they look pretty.
Yeah. Although, like, I would say they could still improve and give you more chances to make it look like Pinterest pretty. I would say it's
Yeah,
still a little bit more like mathematical
it
pretty.
looks nerdy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nerdy
yeah.
pretty. Yeah.
And it would be nice if I could choose my own colors, but I think there's also
Yeah.
options that I haven't really explored for myself because
Hmm.
I'm staying away from coding most of the
Hmm.
time. But you have the
Hmm.
option for that, and
Yeah.
you can like work with formulas. That's what I do every now and then.
Yeah.
Like
Me too. Yeah.
the options are endless,
Hmm.
and the starting point is usually that like the missing link to really get into it and love it because
Yeah.
I have this Notion template, and I had clients who heard about Notion before but weren't really sure how to
Hmm.
use it, and they like when we were in the live onboarding call, they were like like I saw like the lights going on all the time
Hmm.
when like I
Oh,
explained a
nice.
new thing. And I had
Hmm.
some people who have never heard of Notion before who were very scared of a
Hmm.
big tool. And we had like a 1.5 hour onboarding call, which is now
Oh,
video
wow.
lessons.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, but this is so much because obviously I
I mean,
over
it
delivered
is.
again.
Yeah. But do you have these videos and templates available for everyone?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Because like that's the thing. Notion is most like it's the easiest to learn Notion if you like get some of the pre-existing templates
yeah.
and see how other people have done it.
Yeah.
So you can usually get templates for free from Notion itself. I
Hmm.
don't usually find them overly helpful for my own
Okay. Yeah.
workflow.
Or at least you'll have to tweak them a lot, like to make it
Yes,
work for
yeah.
you.
Once you
Yeah.
know how it works with properties
Hmm.
and all these things,
Yeah.
it's easy to adjust them to your needs.
Hmm.
The other option is to go on YouTube and find
Hmm.
tutorials on this, always helpful. Or
Yeah.
you get a template that has the whole onboarding process in it. That's how I started.
Hmm.
And I at some point I grew out of that template and I tweaked it and added like 5 times the amount to make it work for my own business.
Hmm.
And yeah, I created all the onboarding tutorials so that people really understand the mechanisms behind it,
Hmm.
know how to start, understand the basics of Notion, and also learn how they can adjust it to their own needs,
So
which is the
basically
most
everything.
important
They
point.
wouldn't really need
Yeah.
anything else. Oh,
Yes,
nice. That's so
exactly.
nice. Yeah.
And you got to be patient and give yourself time for it. It's
Hmm.
not a thing you learn in a week or two, usually.
Yeah.
Like I've
Yeah.
been dabbling with Notion for years. I still find new things all the
Yeah.
time.
I'm tweaking all the time.
But I
Tweaking
think
things.
give it a couple of months and
Yeah.
work with one area after the other, and then you will
Hmm.
slowly get into it. So you also use Notion for not just social media, right? Like we just talked
Yeah.
about how you can plan your social media content. I actually have like lovely templates that also guide you through the process of
Hmm.
creating the post. And then
Oh,
you have a
nice.
lovely archive, so you can also recycle stuff if you want to use it
Hmm.
again, which is important
Yeah.
these days, right?
Yeah, I set up to kind of give 5 stars, like 1 to 5 stars to my post, but it's just like I
Uh,
forget to go back and check. So
yeah,
yeah, I have
yeah.
it there set up, but it's not like really something I'm doing on a like
There's a
constant basis.
system. There is a system, but it can always need like it can always be improved.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and usually it's the person using the system that could improve.
Really.
So you have social media
Yeah.
that you organize with Notion. What other fields of your business?
Yeah, so I have like a one dashboard where most of the important stuff is, and that's where like my calendar is obviously on top, where I have all my tasks, my photo shoots. Also, my personal stuff, I don't like divide it, but I do have like a tag. So it goes like business and personal so that I can
Yeah.
kind of see it.
So like projects, are your photo shoots like a
Yeah.
project database then?
The photo shoots are project database, but they are linked to the task calendar. Because like you can
That's the
connect databases between each
That
other.
is the
So
most
it's just,
fantastic
yeah,
function.
yeah,
Yes, because you can
yeah,
also link your social media content to your to-do list. So you can
yeah,
create your to-dos for the week and be like, okay, I need to write a newsletter. And then you
yeah,
can link that content piece from your to-do list. So with one click, you're in your
yeah. And you see it
content
in your
creation.
calendar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I also have, so I have like inquiries, database for inquiries, database for pitching, for projects, for my personal projects, for my like user noodle, so the teaching projects. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, I have a million databases. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
All of that.
those would be probably
Pitching.
the most important ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also thinking because my own template, like my own database Notion thing has evolved a lot
Mm-hmm.
compared to the digital business buddy, which is my template
Mm-hmm.
that I sell to food photographers.
Mm-hmm.
It's in German, but yeah,
Well,
unfortunately,
yeah.
it's in German only. But yeah, that one has the to-do database,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, which is kind of the heart of it all. Like you, at the
Mm-hmm.
start, when you open it, you see your daily to-dos. We have
Mm-hmm.
the content creation vault. There is a client area for like existing clients,
Mm-hmm.
also to keep track of licenses that are
Mm-hmm.
currently still
Yeah,
active. It reminds me on my phone when they are to be
about
renewed or
expire. Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Of course, a pitching and client acquisition area where I also
Mm-hmm.
have pitching templates in there that you can adjust to your needs.
Yeah.
And it's also for researching new clients, plus also reminders that you can set if you happen to like contact a few
Mhm.
companies you would like to work with. It will remind you in a week or so to send a follow-up because we
Yeah.
know acquisition is mostly follow-up emails.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, trying to like not be ghosted. And
Yeah,
what else? Oh
yeah.
yeah, like actually that's the most important part for me. It's the reviews and planning area
Oh,
because
yeah. Mhm.
like planning your
Yeah.
week is fine. It helps you to
Mhm.
stay on track, but
Yeah.
in order to figure out what am I doing this week, I need to know what is my goal for
Like the
this
big
year,
picture. Yeah,
the
yeah.
big picture. So like
Do
I
you have
do
it kind of broken down into like yearly, quarterly, monthly, like yeah,
yes,
all of
yes.
this? Yeah.
So
I have the same.
basically, yeah, I think we talked about this a lot as well, and we
Mhm.
did like yearly planning together, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So all these tools and templates are in there as well because yeah, like you basically go down from your yearly planning to
Yeah.
dividing it into your quarters to planning the month, and then like I do weekly reviews and plannings, which
And I
is
also started to do it because
oh, I'm so proud
Sabrina
of
just
you.
like gave me a kick in, you know what?
Yeah, like I love my weekly planning because I usually, like, I basically check in every week with, okay, what were my successes? What was good last week? And then I actually relive my memories. It's also a mix of like business and personal achievements,
Mhm.
and
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah.
just makes me very happy. I also always
I have a
upload,
question for you.
of course.
Do you do it on at the end of the week or in the beginning of the week?
I have a reminder set, like it creates an automatic to do for Sunday. I plan
Mhm.
to do it on Sunday. Sometimes it's on a Monday morning. Like depends on my
Mhm.
time and how busy my weekend
Yeah,
is. It is both
yeah.
nice. Like it's nice to sit down on Sunday evening roughly to like plan what's up for the
What's
next
next?
week.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's also a good thing to do on a Monday morning to get my head into
Mhm.
work mode, usually before our calls.
Yeah.
I do my weekly planning, and you're in the weekly planning as well, then.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
but what I wanted to say is that my brain is, I don't know, it shuts off after the week is has gone, and then on Monday next week I have no idea what I've done previous week.
See, that's why it's
So,
nice to look back, and that's also why this template helps you, because like I forget too.
yeah, so
and
that's
then
why I'm
and then
doing
I
this on Friday. Like especially
mhm.
the business stuff,
uh,
I'll write it in on Friday because on Monday I'll have no idea. I'll maybe know if I have a photo shoot, but I'll have no idea of any struggles, anything, like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's why I have this like when I open my weekly planning, I
Hmm.
have a calendar view of my to-dos that I did last week. And then I'm like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I did this. I had this shoot and I succeeded in like having new people sign up for this and this. And
yeah,
then I
yeah.
write it down and then I can feel the joy about it again. And that
Yeah,
helps
it
me
feels really
to
good.
and then helps me to make plans for the next week. So it's basically
Hmm.
look back and then look forward. And
Yeah,
then, of course, like always checking in with like monthly, quarterly, and annual goals helps me
yeah,
to like make plans for that week, especially the monthly planning. That is also more about
yeah,
strategy and what things need to be done. That helps me a lot with my weekly goals and plans. But the annual thing is more of a thing of how do I want to feel? Like,
yeah.
what do I want to achieve? What are the things I want to experience
Yeah,
and
because
do?
it's sometimes hard to know like very detailed of what you want to get out of
Yeah.
the year, like because things change throughout the year.
Yes.
So maybe
Yeah.
quarterly, yeah, but like yearly would be very vague for me, like
Yeah.
the goals.
Yeah. And that's the thing with goal setting. It's not actually about reaching the goal,
Yeah,
but about constantly checking in with, is that a goal I still want
yeah,
to achieve? And if not, why and how would I adjust it? And
yeah,
that's why I have all these like different types of planning. And I also
yeah.
do annual planning, or I'm planning to do it twice a year, like to look into
Hmm.
my planning, like what we did in January,
Hmm.
um, to check in. Is that still, am I still aligned with it, or did things change?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah. Because things do change throughout the
yeah.
year. So yeah.
And honestly, I don't do it in January. Like I've gotten better, more
Hmm.
advanced with it. I do my annual planning around November.
Oh,
And
you're really good. Yeah, I remember you
and
were saying this to me, and I was like,
uh,
oh my God, I'm so behind.
well, you've started it now, and it's a process, really, because you need
It
to
is,
get
yeah.
into this, and yeah, it helps me to always have my goals in mind.
Hmm.
And also, when I plan for my quarters, that's also just a rough planning of things I could
Yeah,
do, and
yeah.
that's basically how my podcast started to develop and make me feel
Hmm.
confident that I can actually do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like with goal setting, I had been setting goals before, but it was usually just like in a doc somewhere, which was just lost. And like in the middle of the year, I had no idea where that doc is.
Yeah,
So now I have like all this like yearly, quarterly,
you can look
monthly,
back at
weekly.
it.
It's everything is connected. So basically, in the beginning of the month, I don't have any tasks in my weekly like goals. So I know, okay, I have to go back. It's the beginning of the month. I'll check, what's happening this month, and then I'll create my like goals, basically like tasks for the month, and then I'll see them. And when I see them, I'll actually do that instead of like going and doing something that's like totally not important for my business.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just like checking, checking, checking. And at the end of the week, you're like, oh yeah, I achieved everything. And now I have another spare day. And it's like, how did I manage to do
Yay.
everything
Yes.
last year? And like, I didn't actually manage to do like everything. I was just like constantly busy. So I feel like when I have everything like planned out, sometimes I will kind of change my tasks from one week to the other. If I see I'm like my brain is not really functioning in that way, I'll just move it to another week. But I finish it really quickly because I know like I need to achieve this week, so I'll just go do that instead of going doing just random stuff.
I
I think
really
it keeps you
admire you.
focused.
I really admire you for this. I think when we started working on our first project together, I was amazed how well organized you were, and
Oh, thank you.
that I could really count on you that things will be done, or if
Hmm.
something would not work out, you would communicate it. And
Yeah,
it's just always worked out really well to organize things with you. And I love
yeah.
that.
I think it's also like my safe place to have things in check. And I
Yeah.
noticed that now when things are even more like structured in Notion, I just like feel better about myself and also like better about doing projects together, like yours, like and with
Mm-hmm.
others, because then I can always be on time. I'm not late. I'm not forgetting things. I have everything organized, and people really love it. Even like for clients,
Yeah.
if you have that system, you always know, okay, now I need to send them like, I don't know, this and this and this. And like you always know where you are in the process, which just
Yeah.
makes it easier for me, but also for the client. They're like, you're always on time. You're always like ready. So
Yes.
they
Yeah.
really appreciate it. They do.
It's really something that is running invisible in the
Hmm.
background, and it
Hmm.
feels like, oh, it's not noticeable, but it is so
Yeah, it is because
noticeable.
I've gotten a lot of like not test also testimonials, but a lot of
Mm.
feedback from clients where they say we really love how organized, quick, and like efficient you are,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah.
also like I think mainly because I'm very organized. I mean, I can be more organized, but like I'm quite organized,
Yeah.
and definitely Notion has been a big part of this in the past year.
Yeah. I just love how glowingly we talk about this tool. But
Yeah, it's
it
like
really,
marketing. It should be our sponsor.
the thing is, I talk with all my friends about it as well, and some pick it up. Some are just amazed by my passion for it. It's not for everyone. Like I have a few
Yeah,
friends with
probably not.
ADHD, autism, and I notice some people, for them it's too structured, and for others it's
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's something you gotta find out for yourself. I actually have a run through of my template in my Insta story highlights. I'm gonna link that
Hmm.
in the show notes, and also the page with all the information about the digital business buddy. Again, I'm sorry, it's in German only. Um,
Are you
might have to
planning to
link.
do it in English too in the
I'm
future?
wondering, like, if AI, like the way AI is evolving, I might actually be
Hmm.
able to properly
Just translate
translate
it. Yeah.
the things, but that's currently not the case.
I think
But
you
yeah,
could do that. Yeah, it would be very helpful.
yeah. But still, have a look into it. You might still understand some of the stuff, even with my German babbling. And I think I could continue talking with you about this forever. Like, especially, like, we should go into the long-term planning, the monthly planning in a
Yeah.
bit more detail at some other point, and talk about photography another time as well, and about
Yeah,
client acquisition and
definitely.
everything, because you have so much to say.
Yeah,
um,
like I feel like every week when we have our chats, it's like after an hour and a half, like we could still talk for hours, and we're like, no, we
mhm,
gotta go to work.
yeah. I think for now, we're good.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do more chats in the future. Look out for my podcast, but also maybe for Anya's YouTube channel.
It's
Not,
I'm planning to post more this year on YouTube. So yeah.
and there's going to be more content from the two of us because we love working with each other. Because we know you love us chatting with each other. So obviously we're gonna oblige. Um, But for now, I want to thank you so much, Anja, for coming
Thank you,
to my
Sabrina.
podcast on this spontaneous note. We talked about it yesterday
Yeah, it
and
was just
met
like,
up
let's
in the
do it.
morning. So, yeah, please leave a rating for this podcast. Send us DMs if you like this type of interview, like chill chatter. If you want more of that, like I need your feedback to make the podcast exactly what you need for your own business growth. So feedback is always
Awesome.
appreciated. And
Hmm.
I'm going to put Anya's social handles in the show notes and some other infos about the digital business buddy. And I'm going to see you next week, probably.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
All
Sabrina.
right.
This was so nice.
Thank
I
you.
love this chat.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Und wenn du jetzt neugierig geworden bist, wie Notion funktioniert, was Notion für dich tun kann, dann schau auf jeden Fall mal rein, was der Digital Business Buddy genau ist. Ich habe dir alle Links in die Show Notes gepackt, aber nochmal kurz auf Deutsch und zusammenfassend. Der Digital Business Buddy ist mein All-in-One Notion Workspace, mit dem du dein komplettes Food-Fotografie-Business organisieren und planen kannst. Es gibt Bereiche, wo du deine wöchentlichen To-Dos reinpackst. Du kannst all deinen Content, egal wo du ihn produzierst, an einer Stelle haben. Planen, archivieren, organisieren. Du hast eine Datenbank mit all deinen Kundenprojekten, deinen Fotoshootings, die geplant sind. Du kannst deine Akquise endlich strukturiert und organisiert angehen und kriegst von mir sogar noch Pitching-Templates mit dazu. Deine Jahresplanung, die Planung für die nächsten Monate, Quartale und wöchentliche Reviews sind ebenfalls drin enthalten und das alles mit detaillierten, ausführlichen Onboarding-Videos, damit du nicht nur grob verstehst, wie du dieses Tool für dich verwendest, sondern es zu 100% auf deine eigenen Bedürfnisse abstimmst. Denn jeder ist anders, jeder hat andere Workflows und Dinge, die für ihn funktionieren und ein Excitement entstehen lassen. Ja, ich bin excited, wenn ich meine Woche plane, wenn ich meine To-Dos abhaken kann. Und ich wünsche mir das für dich auch. Und all das findest du in dem Digital Business Buddy. Alle Infos dafür habe ich dir nochmal in die Shownotes gepackt. Einen kurzen und knackigen Walkthrough, um eine Idee zu haben, wie Notion überhaupt aussieht und funktioniert und wie alles miteinander verknüpft ist. Und natürlich auch, wo du dir dieses unfassbar große und mächtige Tool für dein Business kaufen kannst. Wenn du Fragen hast, weißt du ja, wo du mich erreichen kannst. Und ich wünsche dir jetzt einen wundervollen Tag und wir hören uns in der nächsten Folge. Bis denn.